The neon lights flicker above a dingy bar as Jack is violently tossed onto the pavement by two burly security guards. He hits the ground with a thud, groaning as the world spins around him. A woman gasps in horror, stepping back as the bouncer dusts off his hands like he just took out the trash.
Stay out, loser.
Before Jack can fully register what's happening, a man rushes out of the bar and kicks him in the gut. Was that necessary?
Yeah.
Police sirens blare in the distance. The scattered crowd quickly disperses like cockroaches under a light. Across the street, hidden in the shadows, Maggie, Diane's ever-resourceful assistant, watches from afar, her phone raised, snapping photos like a paparazzo with a secret agenda. She sighs, checking the pictures.
Oh, Jack, what are you doing?
Jack stands frozen, his face pale with disbelief, as moving men hurl his belongings onto the pavement outside his apartment. His script books, his few remaining clothes, even his pathetic excuse for a toaster, all piling up like a tragic yard sale. Hey, whoa, can we at least pretend I'm a human being? Maybe put the toaster down gently? A burly mover chuckles before tossing the toaster directly into the street, where it bounces twice and dies. Jack watches it, mouth slightly open. Right, cool. Love that for me. Behind a nearby parked car, Maggie watches again, arms crossed, shaking her head.
This is starting to feel like a documentary about failure.
Diane sits at her pristine marble countertop, a script open in front of her, though she's not reading it. Instead, she types something into her laptop. Her fingers hover over the keyboard as she stares at the Twitter search bar. Jack Marsden. She hits enter. Immediately, headlines flood the screen. Leading man fired after booze night out with canceled producer. Jack Marsden, career suicide or midlife crisis? Dick Wolf kills off his most beloved character. Diane grimaces, rubbing her temples. She closes her laptop with a sigh. At that moment, the door swings open, and Maggie saunters in, holding a coffee like she owns the place.
Where the hell have you been for 3 days? I've been trying to reach you, and it's felt like I was calling an astronaut with a coconut phone.
Maggie takes a long casual sip, completely unfazed.
Dramatic much?
Depends. Are you finally going to tell me where you've been?
Following your ex-boyfriend. Watching him go from disaster to disaster. It's been a journey.
Diane stiffens, eyes narrowing.
Jack's in trouble?
Maggie plops onto the stool opposite her.
Oh, just minor trouble. You know, homelessness, joblessness, possible alcoholism.
Diane's eyes widen.
What?
Relax. It's not like he's sleeping in a gutter.
Diane lets out a sigh of relief.
Yet.
Diane glares.
What happened?
Well, for starters, I know from looking at your laptop that you already figured out Dick Wolf fired him.
Diane grits her teeth.
What else?
Maggie leans forward, dropping the final bombshell.
He's booked himself into a hostel.
Diane blinks, horrified.
Jack? In a hostel?
With bunk beds.
Diane exhales sharply, rubbing her temples again.
Ugh, great. He's too ashamed to come back.
Actually,
Maggie swirls her coffee, hesitating.
he has gambling debt.
Diane's head snaps up.
He has what?
Yeah, and he can't afford the airfare.
Diane buries her face in her hands.
Of course he can't.
And he's too ashamed to ask his recently pregnant sister for money.
Diane groans, throwing her arms up.
Ugh!
She grabs her phone.
Fine. Book him a flight, get him an apartment, put it all on my bank card.
Maggie smirks, clearly enjoying this.
Ooh. What's the grand plan?
Diane stands, her eyes burning with determination.
I'm going to see Jack and calmly tell him that I love him and want him back.
Maggie squints suspiciously.
And if that fails? Because, let's be real, there's a strong possibility of that.
Diane pauses, then deadpans.
Then I kidnap him and end up in jail when the world finds out.
Maggie laughs until she notices that Diane isn't laughing.
Oh. Oh my God, you're serious. You scare me.
Diane shrugs, stone-faced.
Not as much as I scare myself.
Diane stares, suddenly concerned.
Cool. So, I should probably start saving up for your bail?
Diane grabs her keys, already heading for the door.
Just make sure you get good photos of my mugshot when I get arrested.
Maggie grins, shaking her head as she follows her out.
Oh, don't worry. I'll make sure you go viral.
They exit together, the weight of what's to come heavy between them. Diane is done with waiting. It's time to bring Jack home. The plane lands. The bustling chaos of LAX hums around them, announcements crackling overhead, families reuniting, exhausted travelers dragging their luggage. But Jack is not in a triumphant return moment. Instead, he's being escorted out of the baggage area by 3 burly security guards, one of whom has a firm grip on his jacket, like he's some troublemaker who smuggled a panda through customs. Jack stumbles forward as the men unceremoniously deposit him in front of Maggie, who stands waiting with arms crossed, the epitome of smug satisfaction. Jack blinks, disoriented. You?
Surprise!
Jack glances over his shoulder at the security guards, still looming nearby. You know, they were kind of rough on me.
Oh, come on. They just gently manhandled you.
Jack dusts himself off, scowling. You arranged this.
Had to. Not sorry.
Jack gestures dramatically to his forcibly escorted arrival. Maggie, I was fully capable of getting here on my own.
Uh-huh. With what money?
Jack pauses. Maggie tilts her head, waiting. Jack rubs his neck awkwardly. Fair point. Maggie nods, satisfied, then steps closer, her expression softening slightly.
Look, Jack. The woman of your dreams still loves you.
Jack's stomach clenches.
And I am sick to death of watching her walk around looking heartbroken, exhausted, and terrified of a future without you in it.
Jack swallows hard, his throat tightening. Diane. Maggie crosses her arms tighter.
Yeah. Diane.
Jack nods slowly, his jaw tensing. I've missed her.
Oh, is that why you haven't called her in a year?
Jack winces. I was ashamed of how I left things. Maggie huffs, unimpressed.
Oh, poor you. You were ashamed. Meanwhile, she was over here trying to glue together the pieces of her life without you.
Jack looks genuinely pained, his hands clenching into fists. Maggie exhales deeply, then finally she straightens up, squaring her shoulders.
All right, here's the deal.
Jack stiffens, eyes narrowing in suspicion.
Right now, I'm the gate between you and Diane.
Jack blinks. You're the gate?
The gate. The keeper of access. The bridge troll who demands a toll.
Jack rubs his temple. Can I just...
Nope. Gotta pay up.
Jack sighs deeply. Maggie...
If you still love Diane, If you actually deserve to stand in front of her again, you're going to prove it.
Jack exhales sharply, crossing his arms. And how do I do that, oh mighty gatekeeper?
Easy.
She leans in, eyes locking onto his.
Tell me 10 things you miss about Diane.
Jack pauses, caught off guard. He stares at Maggie for a moment, then exhales slowly. And then he starts. Well, 1, she always steals the fries off my plate, even though she insists she doesn't want any. Maggie nods approvingly. 2, she talks back to movies like she thinks she's part of them. Maggie smirks. 3, that thing she does where she pretends not to care about my dumb jokes, but I always catch her trying not to, laugh. Maggie crosses her arms, listening. 4, the way she gets mad at reality TV, like the contestants actually personally wronged her. Maggie grins. 5, the way she fixes my tie before big events, like I'm some helpless idiot who can't dress himself. Maggie raises a brow. 6, the way she knows I'm lying before I even say a word. Maggie tilts her head, impressed. 7, the way her eyes light up when she talks about movies. Maggie's smirk fades slightly. 8, the way she pretends she doesn't care about me, but she always shows up when it matters. Maggie's eyes soften. 9, the way she loved me when I couldn't love myself. Jack swallows hard, his voice dropping to almost a whisper. And 10, the way she makes me feel like I belong somewhere, like I'm home. Maggie watches him for a long moment, then finally she sighs. She steps aside.
Fine. Go see her.
Jack nods, his heart hammering in his chest as he heads towards Diane's car. Maggie watches him go, shaking her head.
I swear, if he messes this up, I'm leaving him at the airport next time.
She smirks to herself, then follows after him. Jack is going to Diane, and this time, he's not leaving.
We hope you're loving this episode of Stolen Kiss. If it's making your heart race, or ache just a little, make sure you hit follow wherever you're listening so you never miss what happens next. And while you're here, dive into more from That Love podcast. Check out Posh and Ginger, our 6-part buddy rom-com packed with sharp banter, chaos, and the kind of chemistry that refuses to behave. If you love fast dialogue and slow burn tension, this one's for you. Then don't miss The Love Doctor, starring the endlessly charming Emerson Peary, a darkly funny, emotionally messy ride through love, lies, and second chances. More drama, more romance, more reasons to press play.
A quiet hum of the city lingers outside the car, neon signs casting soft glows across the windshield. Diane sits in the driver's seat, hands resting on the wheel, while Jack stares out the window, his fingers slightly tapping his knee. They haven't spoken in minutes. The air between them is heavy, thick with everything left unsaid. Finally, Diane breaks the silence.
She recorded you, you know?
Jack blinks, turning to her. Who?
Maggie.
Jack groans, leaning his head back against the seat. Of course she did. I swear, that woman could work for the CIA. Diane smirks faintly, but it fades just as quickly.
She sent me the recording. Your love declaration?
Jack's shoulders tense. Diane,
You shouldn't have gone.
Jack exhales sharply, guilt settling deep into his bones. I know. I shouldn't have chosen the role over you. It was dumb. Diane snorts softly, shaking her head.
Yeah, you think?
Jack lets out a dry chuckle, rubbing his face. I actually hated every second of it. Flashing cameras, cold set, fake smiles. I knew from the first day on set that something was missing. Diane keeps her eyes on the road ahead, but her grip on the wheel tightens slightly.
Well, you weren't the only one who couldn't function.
Jack turns fully to her now, studying her face. I was different, Di. I wasn't eating, I wasn't sleeping. I didn't even make any friends.
I know.
Jack shakes his head, his voice cracking slightly. I feel like a hollowed shell of myself. Diane lets out a slow breath, her voice softer now.
Well, I wasn't any better.
Jack runs a hand through his hair, frustration bubbling up. Then I heard you were coming to New York to see one of your produced plays. Diane's brows furrow slightly.
I didn't see you.
Jack smiles sadly, looking down at his hands. I kept myself hidden well, but I saw you. Diane turns, her eyes searching his face. I saw every man in the room looked at you. Diane raises an eyebrow.
What? Like I was the last available Wi-Fi signal?
Jack laughs despite himself, shaking his head. No, worse. Like you made every single one of them feel special. Like they were wanted. Jack clenches his jaw, his fingers gripping the fabric of his jeans. And I felt jealous as hell. Diane softens, tilting her head.
Jealous?
Jack nods, his voice lower now. Because they got to look at you, and I didn't even have the nerve to talk to you. Diane lets out a small, breathy laugh, shaking her head.
Jack?
He looks at her, waiting. She takes a deep breath.
All you had to do was call my name, and I would have run to you.
Diane holds his gaze, unwavering.
Nothing, not a fight, not an argument, nothing could ever stop me from wanting to be with you.
Jack's eyes mist over slightly, and he nods slowly, absorbing every word. I know that now. His voice thickens with emotion. Despite everything I did, you've shown me just how much you love me. Diane swallows hard, her lips pressing together. Jack lets out a small, breathless laugh, wiping at his eyes. Despite my flaws, you've shown me that there's a path back to you. Diane just watches him. And that kind of love, that's rare. That's once in a lifetime. A thick silence settles between them. Diane breathes in, then speaks.
So tell me,
She leans forward slightly, her eyes locked onto his.
in this moment, what does Jack Marsden want?
Jack's throat tightens, his heartbeat pounding in his ears. He looks at Diane, the only person in the world who's ever made him feel like he belonged. And then... Soft classical music swells in the background. A stunning church draped in white roses and soft candlelight. Rows of friends and families sit beaming as they watch a woman walk down the aisle. Diane, pregnant, glowing, her hand resting gently on her belly as she walks towards the altar. At the end of the aisle waiting for her is Jack. He smiles, eyes brimming with love, with certainty. And this time, he's exactly where he's meant to be. The morning sun spills into the kitchen, casting a golden glow over everything. The world outside stirs to life, but inside, it's just them. Diane pads in, her robe loosely tied, hair a mess, but looking effortlessly beautiful in the kind of way that only happens after a night of rediscovering someone you love. At the coffee machine, Jack stands, shirtless, wearing only a pair of old, well-worn shorts, looking perfectly at home. Diane leans against the door frame, watching him with lazy amusement.
Look at you, making coffee, all domestic and everything.
Jack turns, smirking as he hands her a cup. Yeah, well, don't get used to it. This is a one-time only event. Diane takes a sip, humming in approval.
Not bad. Who knew Mr. Hollywood could brew a decent cup?
Jack leans against the counter, watching her closely now, something different in his gaze. Then his expression shifts. Hey.
Yeah?
Jack exhales, rubbing the back of his neck, like he's working up the courage for something. I just realized I never actually answered you. Diane raises an eyebrow, setting her coffee down.
Answered what?
Jack meets her eyes, serious now. That night, in the car, you asked me what I wanted. Diane's lips part slightly, the memory coming back to her. Jack takes a step closer, his voice soft but firm. I never told you. Diane tilts her head, eyes narrowing slightly.
And?
Jack exhales, shaking his head with a small knowing smile. And I should have told you right then, but I'll tell you now. I want to wake up next to you every morning, even when you steal the covers and pretend it's an accident. Diane lets out a small breathless laugh, but Jack isn't done. I want to argue about what to order for dinner, at least twice a week because, let's face it, we both know you'll still pick my plate over yours.
Yeah, because you always order better.
Sure, let's go with that. Diane laughs, but it fades as Jack keeps going, his voice thickening. I want to hear you yell at the TV when your favorite character does something stupid, because honestly, it's terrifying, but also weirdly cute. Diane rolls her eyes, smirking.
It's called passion, Jack. Look it up.
I want to hold your hand even when you're mad at me, especially when you're mad at me. And I want you to pretend you don't like it, even though we both know you do. Diane's smirk falters as she presses her lips together. Jack closes the gap between them. I want to be the person you call when you're having a bad day. I want to be the place you go when you don't know where else to turn. Diane swallows, blinking fast. I want to make bad decisions with you, the kind that turn into our best stories. She laughs through the lump in her throat, nodding.
Like the time we tried to go camping and then we got chased by raccoons?
Exactly. And that was terrifying, by the way. Diane sniffs, laughing as Jack gently takes her hand in his. I want to build a life with you, the kind that feels like home, no matter where we are. Diane's chest tightens, her fingers instinctively curling around his. I want to love you loudly, without hesitation, without doubt. Diane inhales sharply, her eyes glossing over. And I never, never want to let you go again. Diane lets out a breath, the weight of his words settling between them. Then Jack smiles softly, voice barely even above a whisper. And most of all, I want to marry you. Diane just stares at him, her coffee cup forgotten, her heart pounding in her chest. She swallows hard, blinking back tears. Then she steps closer, her voice barely above a whisper.
My turn will come later.
Diane takes his hand and leads him to their bedroom. Diane takes a seat as they eat breakfast.
My turn.
Jack nods, waiting. Diane inhales deeply, gathering her thoughts.
I want to wake up to your stupid morning hair and still think you're the most handsome man I've ever seen.
Jack lets out a small laugh, running a hand through his messy hair. It's not that bad, is it?
It's worse.
Jack chuckles, but she's not done.
I want to steal your fries forever and never apologize for it.
Jack laughs, shaking his head. So basically, I should just order extra fries from now on.
Wouldn't hurt.
They share a small smile, but Diane's expression turns softer now.
I want to force you to take ridiculous couple selfies, even though you hate pictures.
Jack groans dramatically. Ugh, great. That's how I'm going to suffer. Diane smirks, nudging him.
I want to remind you every single day that you're not alone, that I choose you.
Jack blinks, emotion flickering in his eyes.
I want to see your name on a movie poster one day and be obnoxiously loud in the theater.
Well, you already are.
Wow, rude.
Jack laughs, but it dies as she grips his hand tighter.
I want to make our house a home, with too many throw pillows and a fridge full of snacks.
Jack grins. I'll allow the snacks, but the pillows, we gotta set a limit.
Uh-huh, good luck with that.
Jack chuckles, shaking his head. Then Diane's expression turns serious.
I want to never let a single day go by without making you laugh.
Jack squeezes her hand, his smile soft and knowing.
I want to watch you grow in your career, in your life, and never be the reason you feel stuck.
Jack breathes in deeply, eyes locked on hers.
I want to love you through every mistake, every victory, every bad joke.
Jack chuckles, rubbing his thumb over her knuckles. Even the bad ones?
Especially the bad ones.
Jack lets out a small, breathy laugh. Diane inhales, blinking through the emotion. Then she says the final one.
And I want to marry you.
Jack stares at her, completely wrecked by her words. Then he reaches for her. Diane lets out a soft laugh as he pulls her into a deep, slow kiss. When they finally pull away, their foreheads rest together, their hearts pounding. So, we should probably plan a wedding, huh?
Yeah, but first,
She lifts her coffee cup.
I need another round of this.
Jack laughs, taking it from her. Fine, but you're making breakfast. Diane gasps dramatically.
Wow, so demanding. I take it back. I don't want to marry you.
Jack chuckles, wrapping an arm around her. Too late, you already said it. She sighs, grinning.
Damn it.
Jack leans in, kissing her again. And this time, neither of them are going anywhere. Soft orchestral music swells as the doors of the grand church open wide. Sunlight pours in, illuminating Diane, stunning in her wedding dress, a small but undeniable glow on her face. She walks down the aisle, her hand resting lightly on her stomach, pregnant, glowing and radiant. At the end of the aisle, waiting for her, hard in his throat, is Jack. Dressed impeccably, looking at her like she's the only thing in the world. Their eyes lock, and suddenly, nothing else matters. The vows are spoken, the rings exchanged. Then finally,
You may now kiss the bride.
Jack grins, grabbing Diane by the waist and pulling her into a kiss so deep, so sure, so full of love that the entire church erupts into applause. The camera zooms out, catching the moment, the kiss, the love, the future that almost never happened. But here they are, together, for good. The end.
And that's a wrap on this episode of Stolen Kiss. We hope you loved every second. If you did, be sure to follow That Love podcast wherever you listen, so you never miss a moment. This episode featured the voices of Chakri Matayanant, Sierra Haas, Emerson Peary, and Burr Kell. Written, produced, and directed by Joao and Sita. If today's romantic train wreck made you smile, swoon, or gasp, do us a favor and leave a 5-star review. It helps more love-struck listeners discover the show and keeps this story alive and thriving. Until next time, stay kind, stay beautiful, and never forget that you are deeply loved.